All right, guys, welcome back to Crypto Jiri. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day today. Not just because of the way that Bitcoin's price is moving, but as well as the nice sunny day out today. So, let's take a look on the charts. So, as of right now, you guys can see Bitcoin is up 4% about. It was when before I started the videos. You guys can see right there was a Wix right there, so I'm not lying. But yeah, so Bitcoin's up $9,129. So we are moving in a bullish trend. As you see, there's a little support line right here that I've drawn out recently, but we're still on the 61.80 on the day chart, which is a good thing to see. So just because that's a big indicator that there is going to be a breakout candle coming in. So we do have a big resistance on the 50% line, which is a very good thing. So on the day chart, we're going to be moving to at least 14,000. But who knows how long that will take. It could take, months, couple of months, or even, it could go sideways for a long time. So we'll see how that goes. All right, the next big news is market wrap. Bitcoin's price is rising despite a dull halving. A lot of people have been very loud about this because a lot of people thought that it's going to be drastically, moving up into a bullish effect. But like I said in my previous videos, just because there's a halving doesn't mean it's a fast impact. It takes months to even years for the price to drastically go up. Not in a short term, it's a long term investment, right? So if we take a look on what they said, Bitcoin's price is starting to make gains after what turned out to be a rather dull halving event, with daily active Bitcoin addresses at the highest level since 2018. So that alone is an outstanding news. Just because there's an active Bitcoin addresses, that means people are using, buying, selling, or even, buying everyday things with Bitcoin, such as me. But I've been using Bitcoin since 2016 and 17. But still, on a bright side, this is a good thing just because it's going to bump up the price even more, right? Interest in Bitcoin could be heading even higher, which I don't doubt it, of course. The world's first currency is now trading above its 10-day and 50-day moving averages and bullish technical indicator. This reversal comes after a huge 10% drop in price on May 10th that led to bearish sentiment ahead of Bitcoin halving, which occurred May 11th. At press time, Bitcoin was trading up 1% over 24 hours at $8,829. So what they're talking about, the 10-day to 50-day moving average, is basically what they're trying to say, that the 50-day moving average, I have it on myself as well, is basically, and what they're saying is that this alone is giving you there's a buyer market for it. So if the candle is above it, there's a buyer market. If the candle is below the 50-day moving average, it's a seller's market. And then same thing vice versa with the EMA 10. EMA 10, it just gives you a very short-term buy and sell. And then the EMA 50 gives you a long-term buy and sell. And then if we come take a look over here, this is another great graph that I can show you guys, is the Bitcoin active addresses 14-day moving average. As you can see, back in 1718, it was the highest it's ever been, over 1 million. That's where the big, $20,000 to $18,000 Bitcoin was, right? And then when the price dropped, which it has to happen because whatever, is the highest price will go to the lowest price. It has to do that. There's just no way, right? And then you can see, right, April 20th, and then above that, May, right? You could tell it's going to the same resistance trend line, and then it's going to break out and go back down again. So if we move on to what they were saying about the graph, just like the price started in 2017, which I just explained, that really brought Bitcoin to the wider consensus. The halving could again see a new wave of ordinary investors who are not steeped in computer science or technology, said Simon Peters, an analyst of multi-asset brokerage at eToro. So, like, again, right, the mass media is going to say, oh, buy in now, even though it's at the top of its time, which I'll show you a video soon in this video of what that is and how bad that is. To not listen to the mass media, always go the opposite of what media says in investing, because they always tell you it's always late. And then the Bitcoin futures, you can see all the brokerages as well as crypto exchanges starting to buy a lot of crypto for their investors as well as traders. So if we do come take a look at this video by CNBC, billionaire hedge fund investor Paul Tudor Jones, Bitcoin is a great speculation. This guy is ahead of his time in the traditional investing world. He has been in the Bitcoin side first in the investing world. So let's see what he talks about in this video.
For a long time, you were a skeptic of Bitcoin and some cryptocurrencies, but you recently appear to have changed your mind about that. What happened?
Well, COVID happened and the great monetary inflation happened, and that made me begin to think about how do you want to be positioned in your portfolio going forward. So that's really what tripped my interest in Bitcoin. And you have to realize, if you just think about, say, Bitcoin versus cash, right? Bitcoin, when I think of stores of value, I think of it four ways: purchasing power, trustworthiness, liquidity, and portability. That's kind of the categories I put it in. So when it comes to trustworthiness, Bitcoin's 11 years old. There's very little trust in it. We're watching the birthing of a store of value, and whether that succeeds or not, only time will tell. What I do know is that every day that goes by and Bitcoin survives, the trust in it will go up. If you take cash, on the other hand, and you think about it from a purchasing power standpoint, if you own cash in the world today, you know your central bank has an avowed goal of depreciating its value 2% per year. So you have, in essence, a wasting asset in your hands. So Bitcoin, I think it's a great speculation. I've got something between 1 and I think just over 1% of my assets in Bitcoin. Maybe it's almost 2. That seems like the right number right now. It's not, for me, it's not the greatest. It's not the.
And note again, this guy is a billionaire. So if he says 1 to 2%, then he's basically saying that he has rather more than over $10,000 to $20,000 into Bitcoin.
Great cure for all the monetary ill.
All right, well, there you go, guys, from Paul Tudor. Then I'm going to show you another video of Paul Tudor, which is more recent, of what he's saying about Bitcoin. Let's take a watch.
Bitcoin falling today following the halving. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a technical event that reduces the number of Bitcoins rewarded to miners, in turn reducing the number of Bitcoins mined. Mike Novogratz is still with us. So what's your take on the event? It certainly seemed a little bit like a sell the news kind of event, at least initially.
Yeah, a little bit. I think there was a lot of hype going into the halving, right? We've come off from 4,500, so huge rally. A lot of retail participation. There's a great macro backdrop. We've talked about it ad infinitum of why crypto right now, and Bitcoin specifically, makes so much sense. And then you had the news that Paul Jones had bought it, and then bought it for his fund, which is, I think, really, really significant. And so you had a little bit of a retail frenzy. That got sold off. I would expect the market to hold here at 8,000, 8,500, and to start trading right back up. We're seeing at our shop just a huge increase in interest in Bitcoin and getting into crypto from high net worth individuals, from funds. Crypto's not easy to buy. It takes a while to get set to buy it. If it was easy to buy, it would be much higher.
And again, guys, the reason why Michael Novogratz is saying that it takes a long time and it's not hard to buy is because they're trying to buy masses of quantity of Bitcoin, which does take a lot of, blocks and nodes to form with the mining. So that's why he's trying to say it would be a higher price, because if it was very easy to buy Bitcoin in a mass quantity, Bitcoin would be high because of the retail moving up and down the price.
And so it doesn't happen overnight, but it feels like a herd is on its way, finally. I coined that phrase a long time ago, and I've been waiting and waiting for the institutional side. And I think this Tudor news is very big news, because in some ways it takes the career risk of looking dumb out of buying Bitcoin. It credentializes it as a macro weapon. It might or might not work, but people aren't going to say, "Oh, you were a fool to do that." That's tulos. No, it's now seen as a legitimate store of value. And I think it'll allow other hedge funds to participate as well.
Yeah, you don't want to be the first guy, that's for sure. BK, you got a question for Novo?
Well, all right, guys. Hopefully you guys found this article and videos to be very educational as well as informational. Hopefully you guys liked the video, as well as always comment, ask questions, and keep piling, guys.